Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you are new here, if you're part of the family, welcome back. Alright, so for today's video, I'm going to show you some secrets and tips that I use when it comes to concealer and how to apply it and what I do to make sure it doesn't crease. I also go through some of my favorite concealers, high-end and drugstore, and I'll show you how to use your concealer to actually brighten up your under eye. So if you want to see all those secrets and how I do it, just keep watching. Alright guys, let's get started, okay? Since we're gonna be talking concealer today, I went ahead and just put my foundation on and did my eyebrows, and that's all I've done. So at this point, right, after I put on my foundation and do my eyebrows, this is when I would use concealer, okay? So I'll talk about later the concealers that I used and why I like them, but what I do with my concealers is the following. First thing, I choose a shade that's 1 to 2 shades lighter than my skin tone. Why? Because I use a concealer underneath my eye to kind of cover some dark circles that I have, right? And it'll brighten up my under eye, okay? Our under eye is naturally darker than our actual skin tone. So if we go ahead and lighten it up by using a concealer that's 1 to 2 shades lighter, it's gonna brighten it up, okay? And also what I do is that I use this as my eyeshadow primer. So I go ahead and apply my concealer under my eye and also on top of my lid. That way it'll function as an eyeshadow primer. I love using makeup products for more than one use. I think it's super amazing, super cool, and you save money, right? Because you only buying one product to use 2 things. My kids are running around, so if you hear them, I'm really sorry. So the one that I'm going to use today, the concealer I'm going to use today, is the Tarte Shape tape. This is a favorite of mine. It's a favorite throughout the whole YouTube community, and I'll tell you later why I like it. So I'm gonna go ahead, open it. Well, this is what it looks like, and this is the applicator. So you can see it packs a lot of products in the applicator. So we're gonna go ahead. I literally just use this for both eyes. So watch. The inner corner, because that's when we're on the darkest, in the eyelid, and this thing sets pretty quickly, so I'm going to already start blending it, okay? This is a damp beauty blender. I use this to put on my foundation. That's how you see foundation in the other side. This is one of the best ways to apply your concealer because it's damp. It's going to help it melt into your skin and look more natural, okay? And hence it will also help you not to crease or crease very, very minimally, okay? So we get the tip. So look at that. This concealer is amazing. I love it. It brightens up my eye. Look at that. So you kind of want to even just work it down a little bit so it can blend well with your foundation. So you see how you have your foundation and clearly you have your concealer. That it's okay because when we set our foundation and when we set our under eye, it'll blend and it'll go a little nicer. Alright, so the next step that I do to help my concealer look natural, a little more flawless, melt into the skin, and not crease, is I get a setting powder, a translucent setting powder. So I have been using the StudioMakeup translucent powder. I really like this, and my sister actually gave me a sample of the Mercier translucent powder. I really like this, so I think when I run out of this one, I might just purchase that one. So we're gonna go ahead and just get some on our actual lid. Look at that. Here's the trick. So you're gonna get your beauty blender, damp beauty blender that you use to apply your concealer, and you're going to apply a good amount of translucent powder underneath your eye, okay? Before your concealer sets. This is again gonna help it set it so that it does not crease. We're also gonna do that to the lid. That way our eyeshadows go in easier. Look at that. Look at the difference between the eye that I applied the concealer and the eye that I didn't. You see? This one looks more awake. Now, if you were to get a concealer that's exactly your skin color, how do I say this? your under eye will still look dull because, like I said, your under eye is naturally darker than the rest of your face. So even if you try to add that concealer that's the same color as your skin, your under eye will still kind of be a little dull, okay? So the whole point is to make it nice and bright. All right, so let's do the other eye. And the eyelid. And now we're gonna set, again, our translucent powder. A nice generous amount. And set it. If you do this technique where you use a damp beauty blender, a good concealer, and a good translucent powder, you will not crease underneath your eye. There is nothing worse that I can see in people when they do their makeup, that they apply tons of concealer. You shouldn't be putting too much, because the more you put, the more chances you have of it creasing, right? I see that, and I see them creasing, and it's just like you're making yourself look so much older because you have visible lines all over underneath your eye, and you have just aged by like 20 years. It used to happen to me, and I was going crazy. I don't know what I was doing wrong, and then I found this technique. I think it was Nikki tutorials that I saw how she did it, and it like changed my life, seriously. So setting it will make your concealer stay, not crease, look more natural. You see how you even look younger because you ain't got no lines underneath your eyes, okay? Another trick that I do is that when I do put on a foundation, I do not put foundation underneath my eye. Why? The more product you have underneath your eye, the more chances you have of creasing. So I just put foundation and I go all the way up here, and I leave all my eye free of actual foundation, okay? And that's where I only put the concealer, and then I put the setting powder. All right, so let me finish up my makeup, and then I'll be right back. All right, so I am done with my makeup. I finished doing my whole face. Now I want to talk really quick about my favorite concealers, okay? So like you guys already know, I just used in this video is a Tarte Shape tape, and I use the color Light Neutral, which to me, it's 1 to 2 shades lighter than my actual skin tone. What I love about this concealer is that it sets quickly, it helps with the non-creasing, and it's very thick. So it goes on, dries quickly, and I feel like it totally even just brightens up my under eye. So I really love this one. I think this one retails for like 24, 25 bucks. It is expensive, but for me, it lasts me the whole year, and a little bit goes a long way because the formula, like I said, it's very, very thick. So this is my #1 concealer. My next one that I used for years that I really loved is the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer, and I use the color Custard. Again, I love this one. This also has a really good formula and also helps with the non-creasing. And I think this one might be more expensive than the Tarte Shape. I think this one's $29 and this one's $24. But this one I just love. I love a little more than this one. So that's why, and also because it's cheaper, I grabbed this one and prefer this one better, okay? Here, I'll swatch. You know what? I'll swatch them for you. So this first one over here is going to be your Tarte Shape tape, okay? Very thick formula. The next one, the next one is the Nars Creamy Concealer. You see how it's not as thick? This one's also lighter, but it's not as thick as the other one. Okay. All right, so my next one is my MAC. I don't know what I think it's just MAC concealer. There's no name to it. But this one's NC15. I'm usually NC35, so I went obviously a couple of shades lighter. I also like this one. The coverage is really good. Here'll show. I think it's the lightest one out of all of them. The coverage is really good. It's just, if you don't set it well, if you're in a rush or something, then you will most likely crease. That's what kind of stinks about this one. And it's a little more, it's not as thick, it's very watery. And I don't think it lasts as long as these two do. The last one is a drugstore, and this is like a YouTube favorite, and that's why I tried it. And I like it. It's just, you have to build it up. When you first put it on, to me it's very sheer. You have to keep like reapplying it and rebuilding it. And this one is it's the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, and this one's number 20 Sand. I was told this is a dupe for the Nars concealer, but nah, not really. I think that you have to apply a lot more to get the real pigment and payout from like the same payout that you would for the Nars. So this is the Maybelline Fit Me. Again, it's maybe just a little more watery and diluted than this one. It is a good concealer if you do want to cover up blemishes, and you would do that before you put on your foundation. And I would get a concealer that's exactly the shade of my foundation or that matches my skin or the color of my, you know, of your face. That is a true match to you. So that's what I would use. This is a good one, like I said, to cover up blemishes. And that's what I would use this one for. But sometimes I'm in a rush, sometimes I'm going to go to the store and I don't feel like using my Shape tape to go to the store and do a quick airing, but I don't want to have dark, you know, circles. So just put a little bit of this just to kind of cover it up just a little bit. But yes, but all of these you have to set. If you don't set, you will get major creasing underneath your eye, okay? So these are the 4. These are all my favorites that I've been using for a while. So yes, that concludes this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this was a little helpful if you guys are out, you know, looking for a good concealer, and hopefully this was, you know, a good way of also showing you how to not crease, which is huge when applying under eye concealer. At least for me it was for, you know, so many years. So yes, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. Let me know if it was, and let me know if you have any other tips below so that I can, yeah, pass it on. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. Until next time, bye.